Hello, Dr. Cisse covering anatomy and physiology. Today we'll talk about the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are also called the suprarenal glands. Supra means above, renal means the kidney. The adrenal glands are called the suprarenal glands. They're activated by a hormone secreted by the anterior pituitary called the ACTH or adrenocorticotropic hormone, also known as corticotropin. Now, the ACTH is released by the anterior pituitary onto the adrenal glands by the effect of the hormone that is released by the hypothalamus. It's called the releasing hormone. That one is the corticotropin releasing hormone. So basically, the hypothalamus secretes a hormone called corticotropin releasing hormone onto the anterior pituitary. The anterior pituitary secretes ACTH or corticotropin. Where? Onto the adrenal gland, specifically on the adrenal cortex. When it gets to the adrenal cortex will secrete other hormones. Now, the adrenal cortex is the outside of the adrenal gland, and this inside is called the adrenal medulla. Let's talk about the cortex. The adrenal cortex is divided into 3 layers. The way to memorize the layers are G, F, R. G from the zona glomerulosa. Zona glomerulosa. In our lab exercise, we talk about how glomerulosa is like a little bubble, like a little globule. The zona glomerulosa secretes the mineralocorticoid. Mineralocorticoid. For example, one is aldosterone. We'll talk about this when we get to the chapter about electrolyte, because it controls electrolyte balance. So G, glomerulosa. F, fasciculata. It looks like fascicles. Fascicles are like fibers. So the zona fasciculata secrete glucocorticoid. Glucocorticoids. And then the inside zone close to the medulla is called zona reticularis. Zona reticularis. That also secretes glucocorticoids and androgens. Now, the cortex is divided into 3, right? I say GFR, zona glomerulosa, secreting mineralocorticoid. Zona fasciculata, secreting glucocorticoids and androgens. And then the zona reticularis, secreting glucocorticoid and androgens. So if you think about it, the 3 layers will secrete different hormones that will affect different systems. First, the mineralocorticoid that is secreted by the zona glomerulosa. One example is aldosterone. What does it do? It is produced when the blood pressure is low. When the blood pressure is low, we have a hormone called angiotensin II that will stimulate the aldosterone release from the zona glomerulosa of the adrenal cortex. And that aldosterone will cause the kidney to retain sodium and water, maintaining thus the blood volume. For example, cortisol is secreted by the zona fasciculata. The zona fasciculata release cortisol. Now, what does it do? It stimulates fat and protein catabolism, and it kind of increases glucose into blood. It helps adapt to stress. What about the zona reticularis? It secretes androgen, which are sex hormones, or estradiol, which is a major adrenal estrogen. So these hormones are secreted by the different zones, and we'll talk about this in different chapters when we cover the specific chapter for those. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in class.